The year is 1941 and America just entered World War II. 100 million personnel, more than 50 countries involved, 70 to 85 million fatalities, with a large part of them being civilians. World War II is the largest and deadliest event in human history, but this video isn't about the war. Well, it is, but more specifically, it is about a boat, the USS Yorktown. Let me catch you up to speed, and to do that, we're going to have to go back to May 21st, 1934. It was laid down here at Newport News, Virginia, launched 2 years later with the blessings of Eleanor Roosevelt, then commissioned in the 30th September of 1937. This is training part of the neutrality patrol era of the United States, in which the Americas had a keen interest in keeping its coast free and itself out of the war. But then, it didn't take long for the United States to become involved, and Yorktown was front and center. Her first major action was the Marshall's Gilbert raids. It wasn't very significant. Yorktown met up with Task Force 11 under Vice Admiral Brown's command on March 6 for two things. One, to see how far Japan has gotten towards mainland Australia. Second, to provide support for Allied troops in New Caledonia. Lexington, the flagship of Task Force 11, alongside Yorktown and 22 other ships, set sail from New Caledonia. But wait, it's now March 7th and Japan has already landed on New Guinea, which is only 1,468 miles away from Australia, which sounds like a lot, but it's actually like really close. So Vice Admiral Brown was like, change of plan, boys. We're going to Salome sector, which is 2,466 kilometers from Australia, according to Google. What the fuck is a kilometer? Now, why are the Japanese here? Operation Mo. Quick summary. Japan wanted to isolate Australia and New Zealand from America, so they needed New Guinea and other places to build bases and stuff. The place they wanted specifically was Port Moresby, and to capture Port Moresby, they needed some more places. After that, capture Australia and New Zealand, the end. It's now March 10th, and the Allies are here, while Japan is here. Between them, mountains. Large mountains that also provide excellent cover, some may say. America uses it to its advantage and captures the Japanese by surprise. It's a success, but not very strategically important. But what it is that it proves that the novice pilots aren't to be taken lightly. Fast forward to May, and trouble's afoot. The Japanese have landed on Tulagi and seem to be setting up for something. Yorktown barrels towards Tulagi to intercept them. 2 strikes of 12 torpedo bombers and 28 dive bombers, and a third smaller one. They leave. For the true battle is just around the corner. May 7th, 1942. Clear weather, rows of white clouds, still water with a slight breeze. On board the USS Sims were 192 men. The destroyer was tasked to escort Fleet Oiler Neosho, where, after separating from Task Force 17, was to be stationed at a prearranged rendezvous further south for the next refueling. With only one of the 5.5-inch guns manned, it was clear that the crew did not expect to see any major engagement in this assignment. However, at about 9:10 in the morning, a bomb struck the water left side of the destroyer. A single twin-motor reconnaissance plane some 15,000 yards above the ship. All 4 of the 20mm guns and the currently manned 5-inch gun began firing at the plane, forcing it to fly out of range. But the plane continued to trail them, just outside of striking distance. About 20 minutes later, 16 high-level bombers in 2 groups dropped bombs that, luckily, missed both ships wide, apparently afraid of the now fully manned and alert destroyer. A tense 2 hours ensued with the constant pinging of planes that were too far to see with the naked eye, until at about 11:30 a.m., where 24 dive bombers appeared and directed fire to the 2 ships. It wasn't long until the destroyer was sunk, plagued with gun failures and the constant bombardment of the final raid. The crew of the USS Sims was set to fight to its last breath, with one of the last functioning guns catching fire as it spent over 200 shells trying to drive off what was a full fleet of Japanese bombers and fighters. Of the 192 men, only 14 survived. What they faced was the full force of the Japanese in the area. Misinformation from one of the aircraft caused Japanese command to believe that what they found was the main fleet of Task Force 17. Now, to keep this video really short, I'm going to keep everything brief and concise from here on out. Light aircraft carrier Shoho was sunk. Important Japanese ships and important American ships finally found each other, and that began a battle that ultimately Allied forces lost. The Battle of Midway, easily the most important battle of World War II, saw Japan try to completely destroy American sea power in one great ambush, but that didn't work out. To summarize, 41 torpedo bombers served as a distraction to disrupt the combat air patrol. With the disruption, the main heavy hitters, the dive bombers, would take advantage of this opening and successfully sink aircraft carrier Soryu, Akagi, and Kaga. But the 4th, Hiryu, was still operational during this moment and launched repeated, brutal, and efficient counterattacks that rendered the Yorktown immobile not once but twice. The Yorktown crew repaired the ship so quickly, so effectively, that Japanese command believed the Yorktown was 2 completely different carriers. 3 bombs and 2 torpedoes is what it took before the order to abandon the ship was made. Even then, the ship remained afloat overnight, long enough that a salvage party was formed. As the salvage party was towing the war-torn ship for repairs, the submarine managed to slip detection and ultimately sunk Yorktown alongside a destroyer, USS Haman, killing 81 of the destroyer's men and increasing the Yorktown's death toll to 141. Now, historically, this would be the end of the USS Yorktown's history, but the year is 2023 and every single one of the ships mentioned in this video, bar Neosho, have been brought back in the form of ship girls in a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up game that you can walk, eat, sit, sleep. You could bathe them if you want, and eventually, if your affection gets high enough, lucky you could get to marry them. Now, what even is Azur Lane? I haven't even played it yet. Yeah, okay, no, it is a it's got a 4.5 on the App Store, huh? Wow. Ain't that something?